I'm Dr. Ryan DeBell from The Movement Fix. This is Movement Fix Monday. I'm here with WOD Doc at the CrossFit Games. We just filmed a video for his blog. We're doing one for mine.
Doing like a little collaboration.
Little collaboration. And he's gonna share with us what are you gonna share with us?
So what I'm talking about is the way that I teach people how to get into that hip hinge position, right? Because we always talk about how the hips, the ball and socket joint is the big mover of the squat or the deadlift, but it's getting the idea of this is a fixed surface, this is a fixed surface, but we're gonna fold over those two pieces, like, you know, like just like a hinge and a door was, and that's where we get the idea of hip hinging, right? But a lot of times when people hip hinge and we're getting these people to start going through these motions, they go all over the place. They do this, right? They fall back like that, right? It's almost like, it's like a balance. It's like teaching a handstand. Like even if I'm just standing right here, if I go too far forward, I fall forward. If I go too far backward, I fall backward.
Right.
And the same thing happens just because I'm moving those levers, I still have to find that balance point. So a great way that I like to teach the hip hinge that kind of takes all the cues out of it and just allows people to balance is I tell them, just stay balanced, but we start with our feet together, just with our toes and heels together, just like this. And the only thing I ask them to do is keep your shoulder over top, you know, the mid part of your foot, the midfoot, just like where you want the weight to be. And then all you're gonna do is, when you keep the shoulder and the toe in the same fixed position, you're trying to push your hip back. And you'll notice what happens is sooner or later, you're gonna get to a point where you fall backwards, right? You have to take a step backwards. And if you don't fall backwards, it's because you're bending forward like that, right? So if we keep our chest over top of our toes and we push our hips back, sooner or later we fall over.
Okay.
We're gonna do that a couple times to get that feel, but then once we get the feel of that falling backwards, we get to that teetering point, like where all the weight kind of gets onto our heels, we feel like we're gonna fall backwards, but right there, we go from a stiff leg to bending the legs. And if you'll notice, we get this nice little stack up now of where the knees kind of over top the toes, right? But my center of gravity is right over top that midfoot. So right there, I just go from that feet together position, right? To bring my legs out, and then bam, I'm right in that good squatting position, ready to drop down into my squat, whichever one I do, right? So it gets really, really simple. Feet together, hinge back with the shoulder over top of the toes, feel like you're gonna fall, break the knees, step out to the squat stance, and now you're right in that perfect hip hinge position.
Awesome. So I would find this super useful, especially when you're teaching someone how to deadlift or hinge for the first time, and they just wanna go forward. Like they don't know how to push their hips backwards, or push their butt backwards essentially to stay balanced over their foot. What
tends to happen, when I see this all the time, people feel like, you ever get buried up to your waist in sand? That's what I feel like. You gotta go to the beach. You gotta go to the beach more and have some more fun.
I'm sorry.
So if you ever get buried up to your waist in sand or anything, I guess I had a bunch, a sister and a bunch of kids that didn't like me or something, right? Anyway, what I see people do is, like, when you tell them to hip hinge, it's like this thing gets stuck in sand up to their waist, and they go like this, right? They only move the top, but they don't realize that it's this moves forward, this moves back type of thing. So that's a good way to kind of get them going.
To get them doing it without explaining. Move your chest forward, move your hips back. Because that's always, that isn't always...
Inch forward, inch back thing doesn't
always translate, right?
No.
So, because you have to have different cues for different people in different circumstances, right? If you have 5 really good ways of teaching it, then you can solve the problem in a minute, right? Yeah. So this is a great way. I've never actually used this before, so I'm gonna start using that.
Well, try to see if it works for you. Hopefully it does, right?
I bet it will.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys do not already follow WOD Doc, make sure to check him out on Instagram at WOD Doc.
WODDOC.
And if you don't follow The Movement Fix, make sure to follow me at The Movement Fix. I'll see you guys next week.